Somewhere on your bank statement right now, there is a charge you have completely forgotten about. It is not large enough to alarm you, not small enough to seem trivial, and it arrives on exactly the same date every month with the quiet precision of something that was designed never to be noticed. You probably signed up for it during a free trial or at a moment of mild enthusiasm, or because canceling felt like more effort than simply letting it continue. And that, in precise terms, is not an accident. The subscription economy did not emerge because consumers suddenly preferred paying monthly over paying once. It emerged because recurring billing is, from a business engineering standpoint, one of the most powerful financial structures ever introduced to the consumer market. When a company shifts from selling you a product to enrolling you in a service, several things happen simultaneously. Their revenue becomes predictable, their customer relationship becomes passive, and your financial attention, which is limited and already stretched across dozens of decisions each day, is redirected away from the transaction entirely. This is the core mechanism of the subscription trap. Not that subscriptions are inherently bad, but that the system surrounding them is specifically designed to reduce your conscious engagement with the cost. Behavioral economists call this the pain of paying. Every time you hand over money in a direct transaction, your brain registers a small negative signal. It creates friction, and that friction is actually protective. It makes you evaluate whether the exchange feels worth it. Subscription billing, by automating the payment and distancing it from the moment of consumption, eliminates that friction almost entirely. You watch the show, use the software, or ignore the app, and the money leaves your account on a Tuesday while you're thinking about something else completely. What makes this structurally significant is how the model has scaled. In 2010, a typical household might have had one or two recurring charges. By the mid-2020s, studies across multiple countries consistently showed averages between 8 and 12 active subscriptions per household, with consumers routinely underestimating their own total by 30 to 50%. The gap between what people think they are spending on subscriptions and what they are actually spending is not a rounding error. It is a systematic blind spot, and it is maintained by design. Billing cycles are staggered, charges are described in vague or branded language, free trials convert automatically, annual plans are offered at a discount that makes canceling feel like a financial loss even when the service is barely used. There is also a psychological layer that operates beneath the awareness of most subscribers. Once a service becomes part of your routine infrastructure, even loosely, the mental category it occupies shifts from discretionary to essential. You stop asking whether you need it and start assuming that you do. Researchers studying household budget perception have found that people treat recurring charges with the same cognitive weight as fixed costs like rent or utilities, even when the services are entirely optional. The subscription, over time, becomes invisible, not because you forgot it exists, but because your brain reclassified it as a permanent fixture of your financial landscape. The cumulative math of this reclassification is where the real weight appears. A single $10 monthly subscription costs $120 per year, an amount most people would pause before spending in a single moment. 12 subscriptions at that average cost $1,440 annually, which for a median income household represents a meaningful percentage of discretionary income, flowing out in fragments too small to feel significant individually. And that because the charges are distributed across different billing dates and labeled with brand names rather than categories, the brain never assembles them into a single number. They remain separate, manageable feeling, and easy to defer examining. Understanding the subscription trap is not about canceling everything or rejecting the model entirely. Some subscriptions represent genuine, consistent value, and recurring billing itself is a neutral structure. What the system depends on, however, is your inattention, and the moment you replace inattention with a simple periodic audit, the trap loses most of its power. The companies that built this model studied human psychology carefully. They know that the default state of a subscriber is passive continuation. The most financially meaningful thing you can do is simply refuse to make passivity your default and treat your recurring charges not as background infrastructure, but as active, reviewable decisions that deserve the same attention as any other purchase.